Okay. I'm going to change my question now. I've just thought of something else which I want to explore with you briefly. The last chapter of your book talks about practices for after enlightenment. And I forget the term you used, and there's a term you used there.
Path walking.
Path walking, that's right. And I found that intriguing because you were encouraging people or suggesting that one way to path walk is to go and be in a situation that is really scary for you. Right.
Yes, the idea is that awakening isn't a state. It's always right here. It's everyone's real nature. If you open to that, then you operate out of that at all times. Now, post-awakening, or even if you have what are called little flames of awakening, the habit is to go back into operate out of ordinary self mode. The habit of your personal identity gets too reified again. The habit of an out there world gets too reified again. The habit of conventional time gets too reified again. And we begin to operate within the ordinary structures of mind. So path walking instructions, or sometimes that word lamkar is translated as enhancement instructions. Something will enhance or improve the likelihood of holding that awakening. The idea is to bring the nature of your realization fresh every moment to the most difficult of everyday life experiences, to the coarsest levels of mind. Okay? And some teachers would recommend that putting yourself in life's most difficult circumstances is a good practice to keep your awakening fresh. Others recommend that compassionate activity is a good way of keeping it fresh. Personally, in my professional life, I'm a clinician. I'm a trauma expert, trauma and abuse expert. I do a lot of work in the courts. So, being cross-examined as an expert is a good path walking. Good occasion to practice.
Yeah.
And so there's no reactivity. There's no grab.
Yeah.
Just being present. Then it's easier to follow the strategies of the attorneys and keep things on track.
As you were telling me on the phone that you really are in some quite high-profile cases, like the Oklahoma bombings in America. You were involved in that, which must... a lot of pressure because it's also very high-profile PR-wise too, isn't it?
The War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague.
Yes, yeah. So there must be also a lot of preparation you have to do for these cases, which must be a case of really having to focus the mind on the detail too.
Well, that's where concentration training comes in.
Yes, no, I understand that.
Because if you're doing a trial, there are tons and tons of facts that you have to memorize in a short time and have it available. So there isn't the occasion to have a lot of junk in your mind. You have to be like the trained elephant, focused with the full strength and resourcefulness of the mind, to have all that available, without any reactivity.
Yeah.
So, but all this is, it's not about states. It's about a way of being in the world, bringing every moment the best of who we are to it. And the idea in Buddhism is Buddha nature, and this gets to your question you asked earlier, which is about the quick path to enlightenment. See, from one perspective, we have to develop these qualities. We have to slowly eradicate the spontaneous emerging of negative mind states. We have to cultivate the positive or virtuous mind states. We have to train concentration. We have to train ourselves to see things the way they really are with the emptiness meditations. And then we have to refine that awareness so thoroughly that we can awaken. In essence, that's what the path is about. But it's from one point of view, we develop these skills slowly over time. From another point of view, we don't need to develop them at all, because deep in our nature is inherently positive. There are 80-something positive qualities associated with awakening. All of those we have, every human being has them. But all the habits of mind in the course of our life have obscured all that. We fail to see it. So, quick path approaches point out to you how to see that. It's always here. I'll give you a little story about that. I once was taking my kids on school vacation. We were going to go south, and of course I live in Boston, so it was in the middle of the winter, and we went to the airport, and there was a big snowstorm, and they had canceled all the flights. And with the chaos of rescheduling all these canceled flights, the most they could give us was a flight 4 days later, which wouldn't be very good for kids on school vacation, having two boys. I thought that could be a disaster. So I got on my phone and quickly tried to see if there was any flight that was still going out that would get us to where we wanted to go. And we found a flight that was still going out. We got on the flight. They had to de-ice it 2 or 3 times in this blinding snowstorm. You couldn't see anything. And I'm having my doubts about this plane going to be able to take off in the snow, because it's really coming down very strong. And then suddenly the plane says we're taking off. It revs up and just goes right through the snow. And then 3 minutes later, there's this brilliant sun above the snow clouds. And it was there all along. Brilliant sun shining. It was always shining. But you see, from my perspective down on the ground, all I could see was the storm. I didn't see that the sun was always shining until I got a glimpse of it. And it's like that. The pointing out instructions in the quick paths, like Mahamudra or Dzogchen, the Great Completion Practices, or the early translation tantras, the goal is to point out what's obvious that you wouldn't see, and cut through all that stuff that obscures. And then you don't have to practice anything. You don't have to develop anything, because it's already here. It's just a different point of view about the same practices. Neither is wrong or right. They both work. But if you have the benefit of having it pointed out in that way, so you can see the deep radiance, inner radiance that we have within us is always right here. Then you don't have to do all those practices, you see. And that's what you find in lineage traditions, where there's these kind of protected instructions or under certain conditions given to you, so it makes it easier.
Okay, we're going to have to finish now. Dan, thanks very much for coming in. It really has been quite fascinating. And I'd really like to recommend Dan's book here, Pointing Out the Great Way. It's another fascinating read. And thank you for watching Conscious TV. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.